Welcome to the Change Mindset program. Today's session is going to focus on bias versus your goal. For this bias episode, we are going to go all the way to the somewhere around 5th to 6th century BCE. And this is one guru that we are going to meet. Even though he existed in this 5th to 6th century BCE, he still exists today among all of us. Who is this person? His name is Siddhartha Gautama. Try to guess this name. You might have heard it before. So we are meeting this guru. His name is Siddhartha Gautama. He is in the period of 5th to 6th century BCE. This is the time when he is becoming a little more popular as a monk and is gaining the popularity, but just before the time when he was called the Buddha. Yes, today we are going to have Buddha himself sharing his thought process on bias. So this is the time period that he has gained this momentum. We wouldn't say that he has created Buddhism yet, because the Buddha is a title. It's called the Enlightened. The Buddha means the Enlightened. His name is Siddhartha Gautama. And Siddhartha Gautama was a king turned into a monk. He has lived the life of the monk and he has began getting some followers and momentum. He's traveling across. I think he traveled in various places in Asian subcontinent. So he's traveling across places, and whenever he travels, there is a lot of monks that travel along with him. That is the stage. But still, there is some resistance about him. People like him, follow him. There is also people that do not like him yet, or some are skeptical still. So that's the time period that we are sitting in. So this is one fine period when he is traveling along with his disciples to many places. He has entered a village. The time period is also a monsoon season. Remember, we talked about gurus all the time, and we said that they sit under a tree most of the time and such. Well, what do they do in monsoon seasons when there is really heavy rains and wind and such? They are also provided shelter sometimes in public houses, or sometimes even villages split and help each other and give them a little bit space in their house as well. It's a part of the tradition. And Siddhartha Gautama, now becoming popular, gaining momentum, having a lot of entourage along with him, those villagers were really happy to have them all in their houses. So they made a plan, figured out how many disciples Siddhartha Gautama was bringing along, and tried to, okay, let's take one here, two here, each house. So we all support Gautama in his travel process and let him stay here in this village until the monsoon season is over. We will also gain a lot of knowledge from him. So that's the whole plan. Unfortunately, something goes wrong, because the number of monks that are traveling with Siddhartha Gautama are so huge in comparison to the number of houses in the village. A little bit of miss there. So who's going to help who? There's a little bit of confusion there. Suddenly a woman says, by the way, I have a place in my home. You can ask one of Siddhartha's disciples or himself also to come and stay with me. There's a lot of weird looks. You know who the woman is? She's the prostitute of the village. So the lifestyles of a prostitute is in a way that her house is a little secluded. She is not allowed to mingle with the regular group, and her house is technically forbidden unless and until somebody goes in for business. And she is sort of pushed away from the community. She is not a part of the community. So already there is an underlying bias. For her to have voiced out her opinion itself was something wrong. Another thing, she is offering a space for a monk. That was creating a lot of chaos already, even before something could happen. Siddhartha Gautama just looked at her and asked, Madam, where is your house? Oh, it's right over there. And she showed it. Okay. And Siddhartha Gautama turned back to look at one of his favorite disciples, Ananda Tirtha, standing right behind him, and said, Ananda Tirtha, I think you can take that place. Just go with her. Let's make a pause here. Let's look at the mindsets. We know the scene, we know the period now. Can we now look at the mindset of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha? Why did he ask Ananda Tirtha to do it? Ananda Tirtha, the disciple of Buddha, what is he thinking of? What are the people thinking of? While we are reflecting on this, I'm going to share an action point for you. Can you list down the key goals in your life that you could have achieved or achieved a little better, but were blocked just because you couldn't get along with somebody or work with a group? So there was an underlying challenge that stopped you or delayed you, demotivated you some way from your goal. Please list that down. Let's now go back to the story. The great Buddha is in your village. But that's not the point of discussion now. What he did, what he said, was gaining more momentum than Buddha himself. Ananda Tirtha is a staunch devotee of Buddha. He is a disciplined monk. Unwavering, he followed the decision taken by his guru and he went behind the woman. He went in the house of the woman. Now the focus turned away from the great Buddha to that house. Entire focus shifts there. What's going on? Well, the woman knew her own ways of entertaining people. Those days we never had Netflix, So the way you need to entertain somebody is that you sing yourself or dance, which she did. She did dance and sing and entertain Ananda Tirtha in the way she would do with any guest. That's all she knew. And she also gave some silk robes for him to wear because, monk was wearing some damp robes, good old robes, and she gave all that to Ananda Tirtha. Ananda Tirtha is a trained monk. You know what trained monks do? Pay attention. Fully focused, unwavered attention. He paid attention to whatever she did. When she danced, he paid attention. When she sang, paid attention. Whatever she gave, he happily took it. But the people around, there was so much rumor, curiosity. Unfortunately, we never had Twitter those days. Otherwise, there will be too much of hashtagging. But nevertheless, the rumor spread all along that whatever is happening, we don't know what is happening, but something is happening. Nobody knows what is happening, but something is happening. Interesting. Let that happen. Let's come back to our old world. Can we look at your own action points and now reflect on the goals that you have set that you think have achieved or have overachieved just because unexpectedly you worked with someone or a group that gained momentum for you, helped you in so many ways, and you are so surprised that it worked well. Let us now go back to Anandatirtha and Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. Well, the rumor goes on, but the monsoon has to end one day or the other. Monsoon ends, the troop, the whole monk group, will have to shift to another village. When Siddhartha Gautama moves on, the team will have to move. So he moves on, and so does all the group members, the monks. They come out of each of the houses, and here comes Anandatirtha, and together with Anandatirtha comes another nun to join the group of monks of Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. Now, Buddha has something to say to everybody. And this is his words. He says, I chose to walk this path in my life because I think this is the most powerful way of living life. And that's what I preach. Now you tell me that this woman is going to change me in some way or change my disciples in some way, which means her path should be more powerful than mine. Then maybe I should take her path and leave mine. We come back to today's world. Because even in today's world, Buddha exists. Why do you think a leader managed to exist even after his existential time span successfully for so many, many eons? He had only one thing to tell. Intent matters. We all have goals, and so did Gautama Buddha. He set his goal. We also set our goals. What is the difference that he is showing us? Now I ask you the question, looking at the action points. Are you addicted to your goal or are you devoted to your goal? Siddhartha Gautama Buddha was devoted to his goal, so he could not just grow his own goal, make this a universal goal and turn it into what it is today. Help everybody. Your goal could turn into your strength, not just your personal strength, strength of a group, strength of a community, strength of the whole world if needed. But that goal, when it is an addiction to the goal, what does happen? It's the opposite. It turns into bias, it turns into challenges, and you use that as a power to torture or misuse others, give pain to others. And that is the opposite, which is war. The question we need to ask ourselves today, are we devoted to our goal or addicted to our goal? Where do you want to be?